Right, welcome back. Yes, those are the issues we'll discuss and perhaps a lot more. We've got two gentlemen joining us this morning to weigh in on that subject matter. Mr. Babatunde Ogala, Senior Advocate of Nigeria and Head Legal Directorate, Tinubu Campaign Organization, as well as Mr. Monday Ubani, who is the Chairman of Section of Public Interest Law, SPIDA. Gentlemen, good morning. Thank you for coming on today.
Good morning. It's my pleasure to be here with you.
Well, this is a matter about the emergence of the APC's vice presidential candidates, generating reactions at the moment, and who knows for how long more, because it's a long stretch before the general elections. But Mr. Gala, can you say that you expected this kind of reaction, or is it what, mountain out of a molehill for those who are reacting the way they are, or what for you?
Well, Chamberlain, who are those reacting is the first question we ask ourselves. There are those who support the choice wholeheartedly. I'm one of those. I'm a Christian. I'm a Southerner who wholeheartedly support the choice.
And you're head of the
Yes.
Campaign Directorate.
Yes. And there are those who also do not support. What are the reasons for those who are against? Has the Tinubu campaign or Tinubu himself done anything outside what the law permits by the choice of candidates? We need to go back to our Constitution, sections 14 and 15, which deals basically with federal character, equity, fairness, and justice. It is completely silent on religion. Completely. It does not bring that into focus. It talks about ethnicity, it talks about diversity, it talks about representation. It even says there shall be no discrimination based on religion. But for those who have raised these arguments, we need to know that this is practical politics.
So you don't think this is discrimination against religion?
No, the Constitution does not even talk about religion in representation, first and foremost. So it cannot be a discrimination against religion where the Constitution does not talk about it at all. I've referred you to sections 14 and 15 of the Constitutions. Now, what are we looking at here? Are we looking at the fact that there are three major ethnic groups in Nigeria? Hausa, they add Fulani to it, Yoruba, and the Igbos. Are we giving a thought also to the minorities? One of whom is Tinubu-Shettima, a Kanuri from Borno. I said we are saying such things do not matter. And like I also said, moving away from what the law says, this is an election to be won. We are not in an election to pander to religious demands. Elections are there to be won. The southern governors all converge. I think two places, we remember in Asaba, and all resolved that the presidency should come south. Our party respected that. Another party did not respect that. It was not an issue. They just carried on as if all was normal.
It was an issue. It still is an issue. For that party, members of their party are responding.
If you say so. But I think it wasn't an issue. But here we are. We have gone through our own primaries process. We have elected our own presidential candidate. And we have thought about how best we could win the elections. Which combination could win us these elections? And here, we are not building religious leaders. We are talking about leaders to lead a country. We will not deny the fact that our country is in dire straits.
Okay. Well, Mr. Bani.
And that for us, as long as we have not done anything outside the constitutional provision, we have confined ourselves to what the law says. Like I said, I place strong reliance on sections 14 and 15 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Can you
which says
begrudge
little
them
or
for...
nothing
Yeah,
about
Mr.
religion.
Can you begrudge them for wanting to win elections? She relied on this section of the law.
In addition to the constitution that he has just quoted, we have the Electoral Act that actually says it's the political party that presents the candidates. And so when they present that candidate, you, the electorate now, we have your choice to make.
Kuka said such
You know, as to who you want as a leader. So the difference in winning and losing an election is actually the strategy. And so APC and Bola Ahmed Tinubu has come up with their own strategy, that the best thing for him is winnability, getting the candidate that actually will help him to win an election in choosing the Muslim ticket. I think the electorate now will have also a choice as to whether they will agree with that or they will disagree with that. That is actually the position. But we should elevate this argument beyond this issue of Muslim ticket so that it doesn't portray us as being politically naive. You know, we are not, politically advanced. Why should we be talking about religion, in this 21st century? Why we should be talking about competence, capacity, and the reality of driving the economy, which is actually the argument of advanced countries when they present their candidate. People are looking at what are the antecedents, what can they, bring to bear in terms of good governance, so that people will not begin to pigeonhole us into this argument of Muslim ticket. But I think that is something we are forgetting, which I also want to remind the learned's sake. There are what we call invisible assets in a country. And it helps in running a country, and that is the reality. You must have confidence in the government that is in power. The issue of inclusiveness must be there. The issue of justice and equity, they are not visible, but they are invisible. And if you don't have them in any polity, you run into a problem. I think that is the argument we should concentrate on, the larger interest of inclusiveness. Now we have two major religions in the country, and that is the Christians and the Muslims. We have also those who are traditionalists. And from 1999 to date, every political leader has been careful in ensuring that there is balance. Obasanjo, when he came in, he chose a northerner who happens to be a Muslim to be his vice. The same thing with Yaradua. The same thing with Jonathan. The same thing with present president, that's Buhari himself. And even Ahmed Bola Tinubu, while in Oyo, was it Oyo or Ogun State recently, said that there was this issue of clamor for Muslim ticket, but he felt that it was wrong. He had to bring in a Christian in order to balance it. He said so. That was in 2015. So what has actually changed in 2023 that we're now going to have a Muslim ticket, and we're now saying it does not really matter. I'm talking about invisible asset in a country where you have this perception that whenever any decision will be taken concerning my interest, there is somebody there to speak on my behalf. It's a perception.
So are you suggesting that
Yes.
him saying it
Yes.
then,
Yes.
you expect that will apply in all circumstances?
I expect that consistency should be the watchword. If you say like in 2015, it wasn't feasible for us as a nation. And we are now where we are as a nation. Where,
he says it is now.
Yeah, where we have the consciousness of these, our fault lines. I mean, the issue of religion has been accentuated. There is that consciousness. 1993, it wasn't there. But now it has been, the consciousness is there by the current reality. And somebody now says it does not matter. The Nigerian electorate have a choice.
Exactly.
That is
ultimately.
No, ultimately.
But Mr. Ubani, you said that we're in dire straits. That
Yes.
what are those challenges Nigeria is facing now? Because we just say time and again. What are those challenges specifically?
Our challenges are many. I mean, when this government was coming into power, I was part of those that really advocated for them. And part of the thing they promised was the issue of insecurity, the issue of dealing with the economy, the issue of fighting corruption. Now, let's take these three items. Let's not even go further. And then begin to examine them critically and see whether this government have actually fulfilled those promises they made with regards to those. You talk about insecurity. Somebody mentioned it in the paper you just read now. We are not secured in the nation. And you know it almost everywhere. There is nowhere that is safe in the country. So if you now read this government critically and fairly, can you say that this government has actually succeeded in securing our lives and property?
So this choice,
yes.
this Muslim
Yes.
ticket, how does it affect the challenges we're facing? Does it improve on it, or does it make it? That's what I'm trying to link.
Yes.
That.
The truth of the matter is that we're more divided than we were in the 60s, 70s, 80s. You know, and anyone who is going to recruit whoever is going to be his vice or the type of leadership we deserve must be very careful in balancing the equation. It's very, very decent. But as I said earlier, it's their choice. The reality on ground today is that Nigerians have choices to make. By virtue of the fact that in 1993 we are decreed into two political parties, NRC and SDP. But today there are larger parties, and we have presidential candidates that have emerged from all these, all these parties. So Nigerians now have a choice to make. So if a political party by their strategy choose to run Christian ticket, Muslim ticket, Nigeria also has the right to say, look, we don't like this or we like this.
Well, Senior
so
Advocate,
that is the issue.
I'd like you to elucidate on this. A lot of people don't understand the workings of political parties, how you see things. Okay, I mean, sitting out here, I might imagine that this is how you should go about it. But inside your party, seeing the figures, seeing the trends, you know why you do what you do. So in terms of choosing a Muslim vice presidential candidate, I know it's been said that it's to win elections, but help us understand it, because there's a talk about, Muslim voters in the north, how this will help your party get more votes. So help us understand that point better.
I will borrow from my brother, my chairman, Ubani. He has said invisible assets, and I'll borrow that, and I adopt that. These visible and invisible assets are extremely wide. He has focused more on inclusiveness because of on religious grounds. Who is giving a thought to inclusiveness of the minorities? A Kanuri, that Shettima is. And coming back to your question.
Are there no Christian Kanuris?
Pardon me?
Are there no Christian Kanuris?
Excuse me. You chose religion. I chose minority.
I'm not choosing religion.
No. Because when you reduce this to Christian Kanuris rather than Kanuri, I focus on Kanuri.
It's just a question.
I focus on Kanuri. They are Christian Fulanis. They are Christian, even Igbos. I mean, they are Muslim Igbos.
Meaning they are Christian Kanuris.
They are Christians and they are Muslims in all the ethnic groups in Nigeria. But what are the assets? Is it more of an asset, capacity, and above all, can he deliver the votes? What we need are the votes. Like I said, and Bishop Kuka, and I fully adopt Bishop Kuka's position, that look, every party has a right of his choice of candidates, its running mates, and Nigerians also have a choice. But we are not arrogant about it. We are saying to those who may not understand the reasoning to think beyond the narrow confines of religion and see the bigger picture. People at that time have always often and not attempted to dismiss what happened in 1992, 93, and tell us the circumstances are no longer the same. Who determined that? That the circumstances
that's where I'm headed, Barrister.
Sorry. Who determined that? I am not saying the circumstances are the same, but who determined that? And what does it even take to dare to be different? Before then, there was Agwe Eronsi, there was Gowon Way, there was Muritala Obasanjo as it were, and there had been so many others, Buhari, Diagbon, and what have you. And then we came to that head, where, if I recall, it was this same arguments, because we are not saying the circumstances are not the same. It was this same resistance. We were involved. We were old enough. We were involved in the struggle.
What's the point about that? Those military
it was the same argument, Muslim. Today, when people discuss June 12th, They say it was a metaphor. It was a watershed where a Muslim ticket won.
But are the circumstances
Today,
the same?
No, sorry. Today
did we have farmer herder clashes at the time? Did we have attacks on churches at the time in 1993?
We've had all those things.
Were fault lines as visible and enhanced at the time?
Kano riots, they've always been there. And what are even the religious issues of today? Basically, it is the Boko Haram and ISWAP. ISWAP, Boko Haram, is not about Christians. And I think we need to be fair. They kill more people in Zamfara, in Katsina, in Sokoto. 90% of those who are killed are Muslims. In Borno, 90% are Muslims. So we tend to make a mountain out of molehills and want to portend the fact that there is a Muslim-Christian divide in this country. No.
There isn't?
There is no Muslim-Christian divide. What we have, the terrorists we have, who we call bandits or whatever name we call them, hoodlums, ISWAP, Boko Haram, they do not care if you are not practicing their brand of Islam. They do not care. Is the president of today not a Muslim? Where we are now saying insecurity under him has been unprecedented. And it is still by these same terrorist groups who propagate their brand. And we've heard the Sultan of Sokoto, the head of the the Muslim community in Nigeria. We've heard who kept saying Islam is a religion of peace. Islam is a religion of peace. So, for the fact that we have ISWAP, we have Boko Haram doing what they are doing, does not mean it's a Muslim. I have a Muslim name for you, care. Yes, I have a Muslim name because my grandmother was a Muslim. My mother was born Muslim.
What's the significance of that?
So I'm just saying to you, for some of us,
what has that got to do with
for some of us, it's immaterial.
If I ask Mr. Ubani, he might like a Muslim name.
I'm saying for some of us, especially in certain part of the country, it's immaterial because it cuts across. You have both families. I mean, in Southwest, for instance, there is hardly any family that you find that you don't have Muslims. Where you have Alaji Johnson, Alaji Samuel.
You responded to her question about the fault lines.
The fault lines.
Yes.
You know, our fault lines now at the time, were they as visible? Were they as,
exactly
as
what
strong
I am saying
at the time?
Exactly what that is why I've taken you back to 1992, 93. It was you said about the fault lines, and I've taken you back to we had this. I've taken you back to the Maita Senate, the Bulunkutu riots, Kano riots, Kaduna riots, along these same lines. But today we have clear-cut out terrorism. Which where
the consequences are pervasive. I mean, you find the consequences across regions now, across geopolitical zones.
What consequences?
They're in the southwest. They're in the southeast.
Who is in the southwest? Who is in the southeast?
There's terrorism in the southwest now. If you recall the attack on the church in Owo.
Still by unknown government.
Some would argue that they're not quite the same.
So they are not. So you see, in the southeast, are we going to say southeast is along religious lines? I don't think so. What happened in Owo? Well, we are yet to know what exactly and who those attackers were.
Well, the government says it points
The
direction
said it was ISWAP.
Yeah.
And ISWAP, that is why I'm saying.
Believe that?
No, I said the government. I've just told you, I didn't say that. The government
said
said.
Yet to know.
I said
the
government. He reminded me, and I said yes. The government said it was ISWAP, and that is why I went.
Can that now fall into that classification?
Wait now. So, and that is why I now asked you, what is ISWAP? What is Boko Haram about? Is it that they are fighting Muslim causes or their brand of Islam? And that is why I gave you examples, and I said 90%, if not more, of those being killed, attacked by ISWAP and Boko Haram are people of the other faith. They are Muslims in Sokoto, in Katsina, in Zamfara, in Borno, Yobe, Adamawa. The statistics are
90%.
there. 90.
Which
we are the Muslims, we are the Christians in Katsina.
There are Christians in southern Kaduna.
I didn't say, I said 90.
There are Christians in Taraba as well.
Said, yes, in my opinion.
Of those who are killed.
Who are killed in Sokoto, Zamfara.
So not necessarily.
So it's not factual.
It's not factual.
Excuse me. You don't have the facts, you don't have it.
That's why I didn't quote it.
We can also...
You quoted it. If you have the fact, you quoted it.
I said in my opinion.
So he put the caveat opinion.
Please, Chamberlain, I'm a lawyer. And I'm speaking in English.
It's not controversial.
In my opinion. So if you go to Katsina, you go to Sokoto, you go to Zamfara, you go to Borno, you go to Yobe, where there's terrorism. And I said terrorism.
Okay.
Rather than, I don't want to prepare for us to now put terrorism under a religion, Christian,
okay,
Muslim.
but you can't use that opinion that is not factual to make your point. It's not factual.
You will just respect my opinion. You can fault it.
Absolutely, we respect it, but it's not factual.
You have to respect it, but you can fault it with superior arguments. And I will consider...
So is it a thing...
You have not given any. So I said, in my opinion, 90% of those killed in Katsina, Sokoto, Zamfara. I chose what I chose. Even up to Niger, are largely Muslims. And ISWAP and Boko Haram are not fighting.
You know the challenge here.
Let's come back to...
But let us not
if you can weigh in on that one, because, I mean, I don't know how opinions can, you know, be superseded.
No, the point is that I don't have the statistics, you know, but according to him, the factual situation, going by his own, you know, he used the word factual.
No, he said it's on his opinion.
Opinion is that majority of those who are killed
in Sokoto, Katsina, Zamfara, Borno, Yobe.
But as I said earlier, I don't want us to reduce this to this. Let's go beyond.
Thank you.
Recruitment process of leadership, an issue of our unity, which our leaders tell us is not negotiable. If APC has chosen somebody that is from North for the sake of balancing, and then now refuse to bring religion according to him is not a constitutional requirement, as I said earlier, is their choice. But the argument I hear from some of those who are very close to the Tinubu camp is that it's about winning election.
Thank you.
And they said, if you choose a Christian from the North, that the majority of the Muslims in the North will not vote for that candidate. I'm coming. That is their position.
That's not our position.
No. You see, we will come here on television and we lie to ourselves. You know? Listen to the leader. He said he prefers competence, capability, meaning there is no single APC Northern Christian that is capable. We went to school. We understand English. If you say that you chose this man because he is competent, and he is a Northern Muslim, it means that APC Christians that are there in APC are not competent. You have chosen somebody from there. I mean, that is the pure English. They also say they want to win the election. And the issue is that if you choose a Northern Christian who is in the minority, in quote, that they will not get the majority of the Northerners to vote for the APC candidate. That is their permutation. And I said the difference in winning and losing is strategy. That is their strategy. But we should also interrogate these things. It doesn't mean that the issue of our national unity and cohesion is an issue. I was discussing with him now, before we came on stage. I passed through Rwanda when I was going to Kenya.
Yeah.
This is a country that passed through, you know what, genocide.
Genocide, yes.
Friends rose against friends. Families against friends. Families against families. All of a sudden, today, as I speak to you, nobody knows where he comes. You know, everyone is a Rwandan because of issue of leadership. And we should gravitate towards that, where we don't emphasize these our fault lines. That if I want to vote for any person, I don't care where he comes from. But our leaders have not given us cause to really have confidence in them, to not talk about these fault lines, you know, that has been raised by way of consciousness. So it's leadership issue. Ubani, that is what we should concentrate on.
Mr. Ubani, yes. Is that the reality that is upon us now? And I'd like Barrister Ogala to also respond to it, that the northern thinking has been reduced to primordial sentiments, such that we believe that the citizens in the north, who by the way have been advanced as those most advanced in terms of political thinking and participation, cannot get past the issues of development, the issues of insecurity, the issues of the economy, such that they will only vote for our own because he's a northern Muslim. Is that the reality?
The reality today, as I speak to you, is that we have reduced our conversation to that level. Our leadership has not taken us higher in terms of understanding how governance should function. That's why we're now reducing all our conversation to these primordial sentiment that shouldn't actually be a part of our consideration. If the leaders who have been there have actually done the right thing by carrying everyone along, as I said earlier, I was one of those that were all over on television and radio advocating for a change, because we felt that the former government was not doing well. And that if you have President Buhari, who happens to be a father, with the father figure, he's going to carry everyone along. But we've all seen what has happened today. That the man came, he did not. He did not reflect it in appointment. He did not reflect it even in the issue of architecture of the security. He's only one-sided an individual. So he has now raised the consciousness that if I don't have my own interests represented in terms of religion, then I'm not safe in the country, because he has actually raised the consciousness. It's a leadership thing. And we should be talking about leadership. What are the criteria? What is the antecedent? What is he bringing to bear? Is he competent? Is he reliable? Can he be able? And can we rely on that person and have confidence that if my decision is being taken, I will be taken into consideration? That's why the Christians are saying, look, why must you in a country that is heterogeneous, why must you in a country that is multilingual and all that now begin to now run on a ticket of Muslim ticket in a country of 200 million where we have heterogeneity? So, as I said earlier, it's their choice. But the electorate also have a choice. Am I lying?
Yes, you are not. I just want to say Monday, and I thank you again for saying we must rise above these primordial sentiments. While I will say to you that contrary to your assertion, the thinking in our camp is not that it has to be a modern Muslim who can win us elections. But like you've also rightly said, in politics, thank God you were with us in the 2019 campaign. You were with us, and I believe you are still with us.
I doubt what I'm still with you.
Well, you doubt. Yeah. So, but like you said, we must rise above and look at competence. And then that is where we now reduce what is at play to these two gentlemen that we are throwing up. A Tinubu of Lagos, what do we use to look at their competence, to measure their outlook, to see if they can foster unity? You now go back to their backgrounds. And that is what, for me, is key. Need I say, well, the background of a detribalized Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu? Need I say, remind us of what is done in Lagos? Need I tell you that Lagos, under him, opened up to all ethnic people of ethnic nationalities to be part of governance and leadership?
You particularly said Senator Tinubu-Shettima would deliver votes. What did you mean by that?
Let me finish, Mukiolu. Let me finish. I'll come to it. I'm discussing the two persons. And I'm borrowing from Dr. Ubani, who has said we look at the antecedents of the persons and leave out primordial sentiments. And that is where I'm taking on Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He's a man who knows no religion. Yes, he's Ahmed. Yes, he's born Muslim. Yes, he practices it. But is he one you will call an unfair-minded person? Is he one you will call a Muslim, a fanatical Muslim? Or is he one you will call one that is not inclusive? I don't want to discuss his family. But we all know what he did. That even in the Lagos, under him as governor, the Christian fold would forever be proud of him because he promoted. Today, they still have their annual Thanksgiving service, which is Christian. We don't have any equivalent of it.
This conversation essentially is about the running mate. I get what you're doing.
Then we go to Shettima.
Exactly.
I'm coming to it. Then we go to Shettima. Only a few days ago, some people dug up what the then CAN chairman in Borno State said. Even though the man had denied that he has not just said it, but he did not say it in 2017, where he eulogized this man as being a friend of the Christians, where he eulogized him and spoke glowingly about how he protected Christians, even in the thick of the Boko Haram assault on Borno State. Then we then go down to his antecedent and his performance as governor. These are two gentlemen who have brought forth and developed and mentored some of the best leaders this country can boast of. Shettima to Zulu, Tinubu to several others. I need not recount what is obvious to everybody.
Gradually, you're inching closer to the question now.
So these are two gentlemen, and I'm borrowing from my brother, my own chairman. I call him my own chairman, so pardon us when we reduce it to, we have more than a TV relationship.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm now looking at the antecedent. So for the progress of this country, he has clearly said it is their choice. Look, when somebody brought a Yusuf Dati Ahmed, you know, and some people started promoting, his father was the head of the Supreme Council for Sharia Affairs, you know, and all of that, you know. I mean, so for some, the mention of Sharia leaves a bitter taste. You sometimes, but for some, it also leaves a good taste. When somebody chose an Okowa, for some, it's like Okowa is a betrayer. Because we have collectively agreed.
We're due for break in about 2 minutes. I need you to answer that question.
Go ahead.
When you said that Senator Kashim-Shettima would deliver the votes,
oh yes,
what did you mean by that?
I mean that he is a popular being amongst the electorate.
Is it the most popular?
He is popular. You cannot, who is the most popular? It is relative. And there are a lot of factors, education, exposure. This Lagos boy, I call him a Lagos boy, he's my friend. I call him a Lagos boy.
Mr. Ubani specifically said that.
He started his banking career here with us in
Pardon me,
Lagos.
Senior Advocate. Mr. Ubani specifically said that the permutation is that have a Muslim northerner
He's in his own
so
opinion,
that you
not
can
my
get
opinion.
the votes from the north.
His
and
opinion.
you have said that he's the one that can deliver the votes. And time and again...
he said...
Pardon me, let me land, Senior Advocate.
Hang on.
Let me just land on that
because
point.
the Muslims can deliver the vote, not Shettima.
So the point
so
is
I need to correct that.
But it's convenient that Shettima is a Muslim. Or it's a coincidence?
Your own opinion.
So let me just make the point I was making.
It's a poser.
Your own opinion.
You have said he will deliver the points. I just want us to lay the cards on the table. You've said that, I mean, you guys do your permutations. Let's be honest, it's about winning elections.
Oh, yes.
I don't think there's any reason to shy.
Popular candidates.
Exactly. I don't think there's any reason to shy away from it. I know you're trying to be careful around this, but lay the cards on the table, and I think people will appreciate that.
What I'm saying to you, Okikiolu, is the consideration of Kashim is because of who Kashim is and not the faith he professes.
All right, so
that's the difference.
In pre-2015, I mean, we all heard that statement, that speech in Abeokuta when the presidential candidate of your party now, he was an aspirant and was talking about what played up in the build-up to the election and how he had to step back to allow Pastor Yemi Osinbajo to become the vice president. And he made a statement saying that he did not want the party to break at that point, because he said that some people were beginning campaign of calumny. Let me land, Senior Advocate. So the point is this, he didn't want the party to break because it looked like if he had gone Muslim, the party was going to break. But now we have a country at stake, not just a party. He stepped back because he thought, don't let me break the party. But now there's been agitations. We'll take comments from Pa Edwin Clark, you know, senior advocates of Nigeria, prominent Nigerians who have come up against this. I know you said you agree with Bishop Kuka because it seems to be something that goes with you. But don't you think the unity of this nation is even more important than the unity of your party?
I'll take you back to 2015.
Is that yes or no?
So, no, I mean, you will not ask a lawyer yes or no. You know,
Why is it hard to say yes or no?
You know I would never say that. I mean, I won't just tell you, you've gone on a long speech and you say, is that yes or no? No, now.
Is it hard to be forthright saying yes or no?
No wise man will do that. And they say yes or no. No wise man will.
So wise men aren't simple with their responses?
Not when you've gone on a 2-3 minutes discussion and you say man should say yes or no in 1 second. No, he will also take his three minutes.
Okay, you know what we'll do, Senior Advocate? We're due for a break. I was going to get your yes or no, so we'll go on break and you'll come with your expansion. But I'll pose that question. I'll pose that question again because it's important to lay the cards on the table.
Even if I say yes or no,
so please, gentlemen, stay with us. We're back in a moment with this conversation. We're focusing on the issues beyond all the sentiments. We'll be back. Stay with us. Welcome back, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Mr. Babatunde Ogala is still with us, as well as Mr. Monday Ubani. We're discussing this topic that has gotten lots of Nigerians weighing in, prominent Nigerians all over. Thank you for staying with us. So before the break, I was asking you specifically, in 2015 or pre-2015, he stepped down the Muslim idea because he said that the party's unity, keeping the party together, was more important to him. And I'm asking that, is keeping Nigeria, which is bigger than the party, important to him as well?
keeping Nigeria, and I think we have to situate 2015. You've quoted Asiwaju Tinubu as having said there were internal rumblings within the party. And as such, I thought, so we keep the party together, let me step back my ambition. And he put forward a Professor Yemi Osinbajo to go run as vice president, keeping the party. In 2022, where we are now, the party has accepted.
This is about the nation.
No. Hang on. Because you use the analogy of the party. Now, the party has wholeheartedly accepted the choice, which is the choice of the party. Shettima is not just Tinubu's choice. And I want a lot of us to understand that. The talk about Shettima had been known almost from the day Tinubu. Oh, should it be Shettima? Should it be Zulum? Some talked about El Rufai. Some talked about Badaru. People had narrowed down. Even the media was already speculating that these are the kind of persons that ought to be considered. Now, you now talk about the agitations in the nation. I keep saying, and I say for the opportune time, the fact that some opposition elements say they don't want this. And what are the issues? The fear of the combo is just the issue. Masari was picked some weeks back, who eventually withdrew. When Masari was picked, nobody raised eyebrow because they thought, oh, Masari, that one is no threat, Ibrahim Masari. Then came Shettima. They see a bigger threat. So what is next to do? Spin something around religion. Spin something around Muslim. Like Magnus Abe just said, is it about leadership, offering leadership to the country, or offering religious leadership? What exactly are the issues? If it's about, and that is why I've bothered to go into the antecedents of the two men, which is what should be key. We want to keep the country together. Will this break the country? I think not. Like I said, I'm a Christian. My brother Ubani is a Christian, and there are many other Christians who support this decision.
So notwithstanding of what you've heard from Khan, what you've heard from prominent Nigerians?
Our party had zoned the presidency to the south. And the northern governors collectively fought a battle to make that president. Don't forget, at some point, some persons came up and said a certain northerner from the northeast was going to be the candidate. And these northern governors, at that point, nobody was thinking of their religion.
So is this payback for the northern governors
hang on.
No, is this payback for the northern governors?
Excuse me.
Senior Advocate, you're sidestepping the questions.
You are just raising a question in the midst of my explanation.
No, you went to something else.
No.
My question was whether or not you think that this will divide or keep the nation together.
It cannot divide the country.
Good. So you've answered the question. Now, is this payback for the northern governors?
It is not payback. The northern governors collectively, the southern governors had taken their own resolution earlier
let's
that
bring him
it should be south. The northern governors collectively. And when it came to the choice of a deputy, we must also differ. This is our intra-party issue. And I emphasize that intra-party, like Mr. 2015 was intra-party.
There is some level of disgruntledness within the APC itself. Some people have resigned.
The only one?
Not only one.
Who else? Buala.
No, not only Buala.
My brother Buala.
There are so many of them also who are really expressing their grievance over this particular choice. The only reality that my learned Sikh is running away from is letting us know that the northern governors actually brought Ahmed Tinubu, and they have also detected what they want as a condition, and that they want a Muslim from the north in order to balance whatever they feel is they are balancing. And that is actually what has happened. It's a strategy for them.
But he denied it that it's not payback.
No. The point is that we
said that.
We went to school.
I said no. Of course it's not.
The reality.
Ubani is talking as an outsider. I'm talking as an insider.
I know it's not. The reality is that, according to them, they need all the northern votes, especially the majority vote, because it's winnability. It's a strategy. And they have made that choice. But there are those who are feeling, look, this issue of inclusiveness in governance in Nigeria is very key. If I have this thinking that my interest is being considered because my own person even if he's not doing anything, but that perception is a reality. That somebody is there to speak on my behalf. In case any adverse decision is going to be taken against me, somebody will say no or counter it. That perception is not, is what people are arguing. And majority, both CAR and PFN, they have all raised issues with this choice. But let's not reduce it, because it's only one political party that have used their own strategy to make their choice. Nigerians have now choices.
It's interesting other parties.
There are other parties. We have choices.
Let me bring in Senator,
yes,
just a member of your party who is not happy with this matter, Senator Abo. He says, quote, "It is very irresponsible of Tinubu to take his political survival over the stability and peace of Nigeria.
Yes.
For Tinubu now to be given the ticket and turn around to do what he couldn't achieve in 2015, despite opposition from Catholics and other Christian leaders, is extremely irresponsible."
His opinion, respected.
In fact, he said
Not
he
like
went ahead
John
and
Ebola,
resigned.
you mentioned two persons.
Yeah.
Yeah, their opinions. You cannot expect everybody to be happy. They are even, I can tell you for free, even as much as some are saying, Muslim, there are even some within the Muslim circles who even say it's own brand of Muslim or the other. There are also others who aspired to also be considered, who might also be aggrieved. And in any contestation, you would certainly have people who will be aggrieved. But like I was chatting with somebody, and he said they were trying to demean Daniel Bola, and I said, no, Bola is a valuable member of our party. He's not an asset we want to throw away. But at the heat of the moment, this is only a 48-hour thing, there will be people who will be aggrieved. In fact, if you had picked any other person, there will also be persons
So it's not a whole...
He also said that, because he's a member of a party, I don't know when that discussion held. He says, quote, "We sat down in Abuja and strategized that we concluded that he, Tinubu, should not take a Muslim as running mate. He threw away the report. My conscience will not allow me to campaign for Tinubu. I'm a member of CAN. I cannot deny CAN. I remain in APC, but I will take the survival of my country first over political considerations."
Well, I don't know where they sat down. He and who sat down. It's extremely difficult for me, because I hate to discuss my own party members. But I know Senator Abo didn't sit down anywhere with us on strategy. I'm an integral part of that campaign. Senator Abo, of course, remember Senator Abo only 3 years ago was elected on PDP and joined us. We did not sit down anywhere. And because if that is being quoted, with all respect to the distinguished senator, I do not recall we sitting down anywhere to dictate that he has to be either a Christian, atheist, traditionalist, or Muslim vice president. So I don't know who Senator Abo sat down with. But again, like I said, between him and then Bola, who are the two ranking members of our party. But Bola is my direct colleague and a man I have a lot of respect for. As National Legal Advisor, as Director of the legal team, is a good resource that I wouldn't want to lose. They have every right to feel the way they feel.
So you're not pausing to consider some of the issues raised? You're not pausing to say, okay, let's listen to these people. What are the issues?
So it's not a wholehearted party decision?
I am saying to you that these are resource persons. If I'm saying we want to get back to them, we need to assuage them, that tells you I'm also conscious of what their grievances are. But again, these are two senior and distinguished members of our party that we don't want to lose.
Okay, but so let's go back to antecedents now, Barrister Ogala.
There will be grievances, there will be disaffection, and there will be those who will not be happy.
So let's revisit antecedents yet again. I'm glad you recalled some when you said that the running mate is a friend of Christians and how, his past association and preference for Christians have been recalled. In the same vein, some Nigerians have also recalled his past, particularly his association with terrorists. Yes. So how does that become invisible assets for your running mate?
Well, I don't know which Nigerians recall his association with terrorists. The man was in the theater of war. And if I recall, no Nigerian, except his predecessor in office, who was accused by him of having been largely responsible, and that producer now threw it back at him. So no Nigerian other than that. So I know that incident. But again, the question we then ask is, how did they manage? How did they manage as governor? How did they manage the Boko Haram? Because Boko Haram or ISWAP is not something anybody wants to associate or be proud of. He was the man on the spot. And what is the only reference point? I mean, I was not in that theater, so I didn't know. But I will go back and look at quotes and rely on what those who were there had said. And that is where I come back again to Bishop Nuga, the CAN chairman, who spoke glowingly in 2017 about how Kashim...
No, let's not go to the CAN chairman. Let's stay with the issue of terrorism. How did he manage it? And how is it going to impact on this ticket?
I've just said to you that I was not in the theater, but he was the man on the spot, and at least he managed it up to a point that he handed over to his successor, Zulu. Part of the management of the issue of terrorism, we have to be conscious of one track. He's not in a position, not having control of the agencies that are responsible for fighting terrorism. So what aspect of it is he expected to manage? The internal security, the local vigilante. He encouraged them, he funded them, he supported them, he motivated them to assist the military in combating the terrorists. Then, how then did they manage those who were the victims? Because part of the management, and that is the IDPs, and that is what the CAN chairman, the Bishop Nuga, played glowing tributes to him for, on how he managed the victims, how he dealt with them in the IDPs, how he did not discriminate against them, how as Christians they are even very proud of how he managed, comforted them. And
it would seem the leniency with some of the terrorists at the time is coming home to haunt the ticket now.
The leniency, I don't know, maybe you can expatiate on that, and if it's something I can address, I will address it. How was he lenient with
the picture that has been recalled in his association now with terrorists from that time, 2014. Have you seen the picture?
What picture is that? I've not seen it. Please.
I found that really curious.
No, I've not. On a short note, what picture?
The picture where he sat down eating with some of them.
My brother, if you want to deal with terrorists, those who were dealing with the Niger Delta militants, you went into the creeks to eat with them. If you want to understand their grievances, you must just go there, negotiate, try and understand them. Look, in crisis management, even as lawyers when we're in court, Ubani and I, when we are going to, we will say, okay, we want to explore settlement in a dispute. We will sit down over lunch, over dinner, we'll discuss. But if we cannot agree, in the morning we are back to our fireworks in court.
You know what I just realized?
So what I will say to you about him associating or being seen with terrorists is going to have discussions with them, wanting to appeal to them. The government is continuously doing that. The government had always tried to. Even in the public statement, you still appeal to them to drop their hands because the collateral damage is more.
Mr. Ogala, have appeals worked?
If you think about
where we are now, have the appeals worked?
That is why it's an all-out war against them now.
All right.
When the appeals failed.
Okay, just a minute, Mr. Ubani. I mean, you say that, yes, it's their choice. The party has that right. So does that then mean that those who disagree with it should just ignore it and then wait for when they can make their votes count?
I tell you this, when the issue of choice of vice presidential candidate was on the table, a lot of people, really advised that for the sake of the unity of this nation, adequate consideration must be taken into issue of balancing. And I think that was also the reason why it took time. They now, manufactured what they call placeholder. Somebody was placed there temporarily in order for them to do wider consultations. And at the end of it all, we keep on hearing that it's going to be Muslim ticket. That was uproar. People were saying, no, we can't, go back. in the light of certain things that are being revealed, if you listen to those people who have been kidnapped recently, and when they come out of captivity, you know, their deal, they recount their deal. You keep on hearing this story. I don't know whether it's true, but the Bishop of Umahia said it, that these people are saying, look, we will take over Nigeria. We're in the bush of the southwest. We're in the bush in the north, in the east. We will take over the country. So if you begin to hear things like that, then it raises the consciousness of every electorate, you know, look, who are going to be our leaders in 2023? We did take into cognizance my own fate also, when certain persons are threatening that they will take over Nigeria. And this is reality. Don't run away from it. And it took time. Bola himself took time before he came up with this particular decision. But as I said earlier, there are people who feel aggrieved.
Yes.
That this choice does not reflect, you know, the current reality, that this particular person and party is sensitive to the unity of this country, to the grievance of, even if you consider them minority, even if it's 10%. Because even in American election, the minority, the blacks, are taken into cognizance, you know, even in their permutation. Did you actually take a major religious group in the country into permutation in this your choice? How will it augur for you as a political party? But I think the electorate have a choice to make in this regard. It boils down to that all in analysis. But let me tell you this. We must begin to look at the issue of unity of this nation, whether we want to be together, and some of the factors that should actually accentuate it. Part of which is, let's forget the issue of religion. That whosoever becomes a leader must carry everyone along. That kind of leadership is what we desire. And the moment we get it in this country, nobody will begin to do whether you are Igbo or Hausa. I don't care where anyone comes from. If I can get good infrastructural development in the country, 24 hours of light, good road, train system, then I enter my airport, I see airport that, you know, I feel so happy about. When you are coming back from abroad, look at international airport, whether Moritala or Azikiwe, do you feel proud being in Nigeria and having such an airport? So I want leadership that can transform this country, no matter where it comes from. But then, for now, the reality on ground is that if you want to make a choice, try to reflect the balance. In MBA, let me just say this story. In MBA, we're winding down. We decided that 3 regions must be taken into consideration. We divided it. At any time it comes to the southeast, within the minority, they choose who's going to be the president. The same thing with the north. It's going to the north now. So it is a situation we have really looked at as a nation and said, let's now take into consideration the balancing. And that is what is playing out in MPA. Why is it that we are not doing it in the nation?
Even though it's not in the constitution of Nigeria.
Sorry?
Even though that rotation is not in the constitution.
Even though it's not, but the issue of the directive principle of state policy, yes.
It's in the MBA.
It's in the MBA constitution.
You put it there now.
Yeah, it's there. That when it comes to the north, the northerners will choose who their president is, and we vote. The same thing with east and other. Why can't we be realistic about this nation, knowing fully well our heterogeneity and then our diversity?
Well, Senior Advocate, it's been said that those who support this notion, all out for it, are those who stand to benefit from this government or have benefited from either the candidate or the party as a whole. Is that true for you?
That those who have benefited,
who are supporting this Muslim ticket, are those who either stand to benefit from if they become president, vice president, or those who have benefited from the party structure or the candidate. Is that true for you?
Your opinion, it cannot be true for me.
So it's not true for you?
You just said I'm a senior advocate. This candidature did not make me a senior advocate. It cannot take it away. It cannot add to it.
You've been legal advisor for the party, right?
Yes.
And I'd like to ask Barrister Ogala, if you were not the head,
the party, no, listen, if I was not the head of Tinubu's campaign,
would you be supporting this candidacy?
APC,
would you be supporting this ticket?
For those who know me, for those who know me.
And you can be quoted.
Please quote me. I'm on national television. So they don't need to quote me. For those who know me, I don't care about religion, ethnicity. This is my friend. They know what some of us stand for. We've always stood for, and we still stand for. I have never cared. Like in the NBA Constitution, look, Ubani here is my friend. He can testify to my character when it comes to such things. It's about my conviction. And let me just in rounding up, so that we just close it here, as I'm seeing you are anxious to. Like Dr. Ubani has rightly mentioned, we've incorporated it into the NBA Constitution along into 3 diverse zones. But nowhere did we also say it must be of this religious talk or not. Right now, as we speak, the presidency is going off. All 3 candidates from the north are Christians. all three, from the north, for the MBA election. Nobody is raising any eyebrows about that.
Well, that's because it's within the MBA. They're professionals.
So it's not because it says it's inclusiveness.
And it may come up, by the way, Chamberlain. It may come up.
So here is in inclusiveness.
They're professional equals.
It may come up.
APC adopted inclusiveness.
All right,
and said, we want to move the presidency from the north to the south. The other party says, no,
we'll see how the voters respond to this.
That is what we've done.
It's up to the voters now.
No, the voters
to see how they respond.
And know that this is the best.
No, campaigning will come eventually. Campaigning will come.
The states themselves will also have to respond because they will vote for their candidate. So he says he's not on the law. So we'll see whether perception or sentiments matter in these elections as we go on. But we'll have to thank both of you for coming on. Mr. Babatunde Ogala, SAN, is the head legal directorate Tinubu Campaign Organization. We've also had Mr. Monday Ubani, who is the chairman section of public interest development, public interest and development law of the NBA. Gentlemen, thank you both for coming.
My own chairman.
All right.
Thank you.
We're back in a
moment.
member
of that section.